In this video, I am going to show you how I installed hanging microphones on a 100-year-old stage. The parts I used were 8-foot white trim board, 2 3/4-inch Tapcon anchors, microphones, rubber spacers, and eye hooks. The first thing I did was cut the white trim board into 3 equal length pieces measuring 24 inches each. I then took each board and after finding the center, I drilled a 1/2 inch wide hole to feed the microphones through. To prevent the microphone wire from getting pinched against the ceiling, using my Dremel, I cut a groove wide enough to allow the wire to lay flush with the face of the board. Since I was going to use anchors to attach the boards to the ceiling, I had to make holes large enough to feed the screws through loosely. I drilled the holes 2 inches from the edge of the boards. Now that I had holes large enough to feed the microphones and Tapcon anchors through, it was time to feed the microphone and wire through the 1/2 inch hole using the rubber nipple and washers as a means of preventing the wire from getting pinched against the board or ceiling. The next part was interesting and tricky as I tried to find the middle point of the stage opening. I had measured the full opening while on the floor. However, trying to measure the opening while on a ladder 14 feet up in the air was not easy, and the struggle was real. Luckily, the measuring tape I was using has a 13-foot standout or reach before it bends. Even then, I struggled to keep the tape straight against the wall. After what felt like 3 hours trying to find the middle point in the ceiling, it was time to mark where the 2 Tapcon screws were going to be drilled. Using my long reach marker, I marked the 2 holes on the ceiling. Once the marks on the ceiling were made, I took my hammer drill, drilled holes and hung the boards to the ceiling using the Tapcon anchors and rubber spacers. The latter was to have a 1/4 inch space between the ceiling and the board to prevent the microphone wire from getting pinched. I hung this crooked. So I had to climb up the ladder, remove the board, reattach the board, but this time measuring. Note to self, just measure every time. To keep the microphones pointed at the stage, I used fishing wire to tie one end to the eye hooks and the other end to the microphones. Once all microphones were hung, the last step was to run the wire to the receiver using zip ties and cable staples as cable management. These hanging microphones turned out great. I was very happy with the results. Like what you just watched? Hit the thumbs up. Want to see what I'm up to next? Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching. See ya.